That brings me nicely on to Celtic, because there's been a few Celtic transfer stories doing the rounds today. Several from our transfer guru Scott Burns on Record Sport Online today. They've been linked with Real Valladolid. His Raul Moro, I believe is his name. He's a winger, apparently rated at €10 million. They've also been linked with Aston Villa's Louie Barry, once again, with Scott Burns saying that Celtic, will be testing Aston Villa's resolve. And the other one as well that Scott Burns has been reporting on is Zidane Inusa, who's a BK hacking forward. We've heard about Kieran Tierney, Keith, but it certainly looks like Celtic are trying to make significant moves before the window slams shut.
Yeah, interesting. I can see at least two coming in. At Celtic, I think, yes, a wide man, definitely. And as we keep mentioning, even though Mick Gannon swears blind it won't happen, Kieran Tierney in at left back. So, look, it's interesting that strikers are a matter of kind of interest for Celtic at the moment, because we've spoken about the Kyogo speculation, and I'd rather think that that's one that's probably further down the line. It's probably a summer thing. I think that right now, if Celtic get two in, I think Brendan Rodgers will be happy as long as one of them's Kieran Tierney and another one is an upgrade in Lewis Palmer.
Mm-hmm. Aye, that's probably fair.
I think they obviously want to bring a wide player in if Palmer goes, and if you look at the boys you're mentioning, Daniel, especially Mora, who's got looks like he's got a really good pedigree. They're similar profile. It's very typical Brendan Rodgers, young, early 20s. You could argue Mora's maybe lost his way a wee bit, having been at Lazio and stuff like that. And you could see Rodgers obviously wanting to work with these kind of guys. But the one that interests me the most is Louie Barry, because I've seen a bit of him over the years. Again, people probably know. I mean, he grew up at Barcelona for a couple of years in La Masia, and he goes to Villa. People probably remember the brilliant goal he scored against Liverpool in the FA Cup when he was just a young boy, and he was tipped for really brilliant things back then at Villa. He's obviously had a few loans, a couple didn't really work out, but he's kind of found a home at Stockport in loan where he's been phenomenal for them, albeit at a kind of lower level. But when you look at his goals and you look at his play, he's got that bit of personality, that bit of gallousness that I think means he could play at the Old Firm. I don't think going to Celtic would faze him. I mean, when I saw where he was doing at Stockport and that Villa had recalled him with a view to putting him out again, I did think both Old Firm clubs would be interested, but obviously Celtic have came to the fore. And I mean, if Kyogo was to go, I think Barry, not Kyogo's level, obviously, there's a good few years between them, but he'd be that type, that kind of aggressive presser up front, a wee bit of pace, as I say, great finisher. I think he could be a really good signing for them if they could get it, but there'll be loads of clubs in for him, I'm sure of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but something, Scott, and this is where Celtic are really clever in the players that they identify, and the profile, as they call it. Matt O'Reilly is the perfect example. A guy that nobody in the English Premier League was ready to think, he can be fast-tracked. He deserves to play at this level. Celtic see him, they look at the data, they know that this guy's on Liverpool's supercomputer, his data is incredible, but nobody down south thinks, he's ready, he's Premier League ready. So Celtic can go in there and almost they present themselves as the middleman. We'll take you from there, you come here, we'll put you into the shop window, you play Champions League, you'll be an absolute sensation, and then you'll get to the Premier League. Mm-hmm. And you wonder, they can map that out, they can map Matt O'Reilly's journey out in front of this boy and say, look, you can take the same pathway, you'll get to the same place, you'll end up in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm. Aye.
And you'll have a lot of fun getting there.
Aye. He's still only 21, 16 goals in 24 games for Stockport. I think you're right, Scott. I think there's going to be a lot of competition, but Celtic could get that.
But that's what I'm saying. So championship clubs,
Aye, no, I agree with you totally.
And if you're that boy and Celtic are saying, no, come to us. Look what Matt O'Reilly did. Come and play in the Champions League. Come and do all this. And then when you're 23, 24, you're ready.
Aye.
Go back down the road. I just think it makes perfect sense.
That's the thing about Scottish football. I mean, we've spoken about this before, but people criticise it, and it's obviously not very highly regarded down south. But the exposure it gets is terrific for these players. And I spoke to a boy today at Dundee United, Will Ferry, who's done brilliant at United this season. I mean, he left Cheltenham Town, who'd just been relegated for League One. Probably felt his career was going nowhere. He'd already been at Southampton and didn't work out for him. And relegated at League One, he takes a chance, goes to Dundee United. Suddenly people are talking about him, Republic Island call-up and stuff like that. I mean, this, no matter what you say about our game, it does give players a platform and an exposure that they don't get elsewhere. And I totally agree with Jack. If Louie Barry's got a couple of options, and even if they're good sized clubs like I don't know, like a Norwich or a Sheffield United, whatever it might be, I think Celtic can give him something totally different and far.
And by the way, Matt O'Reilly will tell you, Scotty, it's not just that, but what does going to a club like Celtic? What other side spin-offs are there for these guys? I tell you what they are. You're playing in an intense environment where you have to win every week. It's 60,000 people. You can go to one of these clubs. You know what? We won last week, so that was quite good. And we got a draw there. Well, if we lose next weekend, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. The environment, the intensity of the environment in Glasgow is so unique that it prepares these guys and it gives them the right mental attitude.